We're live. We're live now.
We're live. Good
Oh,
evening, everyone. I hope everyone is well.
yeah, good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is having a fabulous cooler weekend this weekend. I think it's been a very hot week for everyone, and I'm well. I had aircon, so I'm not complaining too much. But
I don't have that luxury.
it's how hot was it up north? Was it? Did it get to?
Well, today it's been about 27, 28.
Oh, you're hotter than us today. Oh,
Yeah,
you're
but then all
lucky.
week it's been sort of, sort of early 30s, 34. I think was the highest in Manchester.
Yeah, that's what we've had down south pretty much all week. So
So
all fun and games.
yeah, hi to everyone that has tuned in. Graham's tuned in. He mentioned that he might not make it, but yeah, thank you very much for, I guess, pushing plans aside. We really appreciate that.
I can
So before
see.
we sort of kick tonight off, anyone got anything new to share, and anyone done anything amazing this week? Or today's sort of topic to start off with is going to be daily drivers. So what we drive, what everyone else drives, what common ones are, and just chatting about them really, because people have different views of what a daily driver should be, I guess.
Yeah, I can see Russ Bucket and Russell Toe City E. They're all here.
Yeah, all our
All,
regulars. How
all the
nice is that to
regulars.
say that?
Yeah, I know. We've got like a little club going here, haven't we?
No, it's ace. We really appreciate it, guys. And yeah, we unfortunately can't schedule them very early because with our personal lives and stuff, we have to sort of go, right, yeah, we'll do one. So it's nice to see people at last minute jump in like that. So it's really, really supportive.
Yeah, we only scheduled this yesterday, and I know we say every 2 weeks, but sometimes it's not always the case now. I mean, we all have the ability to move outside, so jobs and real life have got in the way, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree.
Yep,
So
Mini Driven Car Club. I've already spotted Edith hiding in the background there. There's a
little sneak
little
peek.
sneak peek of what's to come. We've got a very special.
Feature long
What
episode for you.
it is a feature long episode because it's probably it's the longest episode we've uploaded, but it is also the longest episode of us two just looking at Edith whilst we're cleaning her. So
Yeah,
it's good. It's a slightly different video. I think it's be interesting to see everyone's faults, and if they can bear with it, I think they can see what
what
could
we're
be
going
done,
for.
how we can turn Edith into well, when you watch the video, you'll find out. So
Yeah, definitely. She's obviously we know what she looks like. She's definitely changed quite a bit. I have posted the odd sneak peek on Instagram, so if you follow us on there and Facebook, you'll see a few bits and bats on there. But yeah, it's something me and James are quite. Is it too much to say passionate about, James?
let's say I've been enjoying driving Edith more than I have my daily driver. So, and
Yeah.
some of you probably already know my daily driver, but I don't think everyone does actually. And I think it's
No. So should we kick yours off first?
I think it is the first photo of
Yeah.
today. So, modelling that Frost merch mark, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would be wearing it too, but mine's up north. So
Yeah, yours is on its way now.
it's on its
So
way.
very kindly sent me and James some shirts. So yeah, massive shout out to them again. Always supporting us. Um, yeah, so there's actually a few more little things in the pipeline with Frost coming. So a
Yeah,
few
there is
little
actually. Yeah.
things that we're entering into, and some events that we're hopefully going to be a part of. And yeah, yeah. And I'm going to hold my hands up now. I have not touched a mini in about a week or 10 days. I've been that busy. So
I haven't done anything either. It's been a bit of a slow week. I think it's just been too hot to be outside. Like Edith can really do with a little bit more TLC, but it's
needs another coat of wax.
she does need another coat of wax. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I mean, for me, a lot of people comment like in the colder months, "Oh, you're so lucky to have a carport." Yeah, it's great in the colder months, but in the hot months, it's like a greenhouse. It's so hot under there. You're actually cooler laying in the patio in direct sunlight than you are under the carport in most sort of times. So
I
it does get
remember.
incredibly hot under there. So
I
I'm
remember
not making excuses, but
when I was up a couple of weeks ago. I was like, "Damn, it's not even that hot outside, but under the
no,
carport, it's
it
hot."
retains the heat. I mean, it makes our house warmer in the winter months. But yeah, it's quite hard to work on, and I've recently changed my daily job, so I'm just getting home and I'm dead. So yeah, there's a few excuses out there, but there is videos coming, guys. There's 3 or 4 already uploaded, ready to rock and roll. So yeah, and
Um,
the feedback from vlogging videos that me and James have done recently as well, that's really positive. And me and James really enjoy doing that sort of video because we're actually enjoying our product or what we've done, aren't we? And like, yeah, it's a nicer way of doing a video. You're not getting covered in dirt working. You're not hurting yourself. You're just enjoying what you've worked hard for. And I quite like doing those videos. I don't know about you, James.
yeah, I really enjoy them. I think it was going to be a big part of this year was us vlogging, especially with the shows. We wanted to do a lot more vlogging at the shows and actually showing you your cars, meeting you guys in person, being able to feature your cars in a video for a show video. It's something we really plan to do a lot of this year
Hmm.
because obviously working on cars we like doing, but we could only fit it in every so often, maybe once or twice a month. But I think lockdown did change that. We were able to work on cars completely for like a month solid.
Yeah, budget
Well,
government.
you could. I obviously, unfortunately, my cars are not located where I live, so I couldn't really do anything. But
No.
it's yeah. I think next year is going to be a complete game changer. I think there's going to be a lot of new content, new cars, shows. Obviously, we'll talk about shows a bit later on, obviously, because there is some big news in the mini scene for shows, but we'll talk about that a bit later on.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's we've actually got some great feedback. I think going over to like East Grinstead Tyres and getting MJ all sorted, and
It was good, wasn't
it
it?
was good. Yeah, shame we couldn't do a little bit more filming at the MOT garage, but it's just the way it is, unfortunately. But
Yeah, they had COVID restrictions. We weren't even allowed in the waiting room. So what you would have seen if we could film was from a car park. So you wouldn't have seen the car anyway. Um, and you also have to respect the MOT's like the whole centre's privacy because they are performing a legal test on a car, and you
mm,
filming that is you're getting other people's registrations in view, you're getting people's tools in view, maybe other people that don't want to be on camera, and you have to sort of respect that because you're paying your money for someone to do a legal task for you, and I think there is some guidelines and rules for not actually being
I
allowed to
don't
film it.
think you're allowed. I don't think you are allowed to film it.
No.
You're allowed to view it. You're
Yeah.
allowed to view, but you're not allowed to film. Um, I think it's to protect the tester more than anything because you don't
Yeah.
want they, as much as a tester can see, they are there to observe and look, not to physically find every single fault with a car, and they obviously don't want that coming back on the tester. So
No. So people that did comment saying that, I mean, go check out any other YouTube video where they take a car for an MOT. There's a lot of people that don't actually film that, or they film that this is where I'm going, and then that's it.
yeah,
So it's
we couldn't
with
even really
respect.
film unloading MJ into the thing, and I think it was a good job because apparently the neighbours would have been really annoyed.
Yeah.
We managed to somehow get away with that. The neighbours didn't come out shouting at us unloading in front of the house, but
Yeah.
it was a bit of a tight squeeze to get Edith down there, but she made it.
Rusty also says he was at a Crawley MOT station. Nobody, sorry, it wasn't. We won't. We're not going to disclose it. It's just not. It's not for us to do. It doesn't matter where we took it. So it's the fact that she's back on the road, and I think that's the
That's the
biggest
main
thing to
thing.
take out of that
Yeah,
video. She's back on the road. There's a few more things that we want to do to the car. Everyone's commented on the door skins time and time again. At the end of the day, James and Chris just want to drive the car. I've got so much welding to do. The fact that I opened my garage door and closed it recently doesn't bode well at the moment. But I've got a lot of welding to do, and the doors are in the pipeline possibly over the winter and get her ready and shiny for next year, basically. There's a few little bits and pieces that we've noticed as well that we want to address to go with that. So it's all good.
yeah.
At the end of the day, you work through one list and you make another list.
Yeah, it was always a thing with MJ. I didn't personally anticipate how well MJ would do as a video and how much people wanted to see her. It was purely an opportunity to get MJ to you just because we wanted the Seals done, just so we could
Yeah,
get her back on the road, and that was always the plan. So a lot of people are like,
yeah,
oh, you haven't done the door skins, and we're like, we know it wasn't part of our original plan. It's just one of those things. Maybe if we actually planned and made it into like an official Simpsons Classic series, we probably would have added it into the pipeline. But this was just a spare of the moment decision at the beginning of March, just before lockdown. Actually, like I'm going to bring the car to you, and then we'll get it. I just want the seals done, and then
Yeah.
it turned out to be quite a lot bigger than we originally thought, and then
Yeah.
we got a pipeline, like you said. We will get the rest of the welding done, and then next year, if
Another one on the road, isn't it? Yeah.
Mark's feeling confident with the paint, well, she's still on the road, so she's on the road. That's the main thing. Exactly.
She can have black doors for a little while.
We can now go drive her. I'm actually itching to go take her for a spin again after not touching her for a week or two now. So really want to go for a good blast. Actually want to get a little bit more footage for our shakedown test.
Yeah, we've filmed quite a bit already.
We filmed quite a bit already.
We want on the car.
I want to get a bit more footage of like the exhaust note, etc. I want to do a bit more of the external. We've done all like the internal in the car and actually driving, doing some things we shouldn't have been doing, but it's just the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah, which you'll see in the video.
Which you will see.
What else have we got? Chris going for a pub in the 26th. So anyone that is down south, that would like to actually see MJ, there is potential that you could maybe meet him, James. Everyone wants to meet us. You could maybe actually have a little mini meet with James there. So it'd be quite nice to see some subscribers that are local to the south. I guess that's a car meet that's out there, so anyone can go along to it. Just noticed that the door handles are filled vertically. They're actually not. They're in an OEM position on the passenger side, but the driver's one's falling off.
The driver's side's just broken, so it was just one of those things we never.
It will be a bugbear of ours, don't worry.
I think when we got it back from the MOT, I actually pulled it off, and I'm just like, oh, we'll fix that later. So
yeah,
it's we.
I need to get on to Brian as it's postponed again. It's next year, so in theory, yeah. Which car we take, we don't know yet. You got to bear in mind, I travel. If I did London to Brighton, it's a 500-mile round trip for me. So I do have to think about what car I'm taking to that. I will aim for the budget clubman. Right now, I can't tell you if it would be. I want it done before Christmas, so she should be driving and stopping and tax MOT sort of thing on the road. So by Christmas, that's the plan. Plans for the car after. I'm itching for something else. I don't know what to do right now. James has had this conversation with me as well, and it's like, as much as, there's plans. The channel's always going to change and evolve for you guys and for me personally. So just watch out for the car. You will definitely see it. So, Tony, hi mate. Hope you're okay. I have just finished editing a video with you in it, Tony. That sounds a bit erotic, but it's got a mini in it too. Those people discussing London to Brighton, that was definitely something James wanted to bring up. Yeah,
we kind of skipped ahead a little bit. We kind of skipped the daily drivers part and gone on to MJ.
We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that. And London to Brighton, obviously that's the big news. London to Brighton is obviously first time in 35 years where there's not going to be a London to Brighton. They've managed to do it every year for the last 35 years.
I'm glad I brought my prac though. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my NHS plaque as well, so sitting over there.
Make history.
As far as I'm aware, they're just going to class the 35th one as next year, so I don't think they're literally just going to skip a year. It's not like next year will be the 36th anniversary of it or anything. They're just going to literally go up another year and then carry on. But I never bought a ticket for this one actually, and I
didn't either. I was going to get married.
I think we will go next year, but
we'll be there. Yeah,
we'll be there, but the cars probably won't be there, or they'll be nearby, or we'll probably drive up and film Crystal Palace the day before, where everyone's camping. Get some footage there, and then we'll probably just make our own way down.
We'll probably be in the sidelines of it, won't we? We'll do the run, but possibly in intervals to try and get some footage for you guys and trying to meet you guys as well, which would be good. So
yeah, maybe it'd be quite cool actually to be more of a documenter for the day rather than actually being a driver for the day.
Yeah, having to worry about a car.
Yeah. And Mark hasn't had the best of luck with the runs, so it's maybe it would be nice to do it in a different aspect. And actually, we're at stage and points. Obviously, I'm very fortunate to live pretty much on the run itself, so we could actually have meeting points, and we could That could be an idea. We could actually maybe designate a car park or something on the route as a Simpsons Classics meeting point, and we can make it like a little bit of a special.
Yeah, break up
Something.
the run, pull in for
Right.
15, 20 minutes. Yeah.
Maybe get a barbecue in the boot going, free bacon
Yeah.
rolls. That always pulls people in, doesn't it? So.
Oh yeah, free bacon rolls from Simpsons Classics. That might
So
be
yeah,
happening.
that
Yeah.
might be happening, yeah, because we're not officially. We can have our cars there essentially, and then once
Yeah.
everyone goes through, we can park our cars up, and then we can just get the train or get a lift down to Brighton and meet you guys on the drive. So yeah, I think that'd be what we'll do. I don't know why we didn't buy tickets this year. Obviously you, because you were
Meant to be getting married.
meant to be getting married and stuff. Well, that was for October. When it was originally May, I don't even know why
Yeah.
I didn't buy a ticket. I can't remember. Um, anyone who has bacon on there, I think there was always one garage that used to do it. Tyre
Yeah, the
garage
one just
in
before you joined the M23, wasn't it?
yeah, was it Coulsdon? Is that Coulsdon area? I think it's Coulsdon area.
Yeah.
We didn't do it like the first time they did it, but they're like 2 or 3 years after that, every time we're like, oh, we're gonna get a bacon sandwich,
Yeah. Well, you pay like £6-7 for one up the top in Crystal Palace, and you can get a free one. Some really nice guys giving them out. So, we'll see what we can do. Maybe we can help some of the runners out, especially some of you guys that are building projects, and a lot of you are building projects because of me and James and what we're doing. You sort of followed us, and that's nice, And if you could do that and drop in and say hi at the same time, and at some point, like you say, we'll be in Crystal Palace and then we'll be in Brighton. We'll meet up with 3 points we can meet then, isn't there? So Tony's up for the bacon, which is always good. Simon, always wanted the Clubman, but only had a round nose. Yeah, I'm quite fortunate. I've had 4 Clubman estates, but this is my only Clubman saloon I've ever had. So yeah, definitely get one if you like them. They're not going down in price now. We had this discussion on the last live stream. They're only going up now. So yeah, should we move on to today's?
Yeah, I think we'll go on
drive?
to some daily drivers, have a little chat with that, and we'll talk. We can always go back to the minis at the end if people have more questions.
So we touch it, don't we, in a few live streams, like what we drive normally or other cars off of the minis. Me and James are changing the channel in some respects, that we want to bring other cars to the channel, and obviously we drive other cars. I mean, personally, I drove a mini for daily for a long time. It's all I really had, and I did a lot of mileage in it. But my life changes. You do more mileage, you do more things. You want, need a different size car, and you need a car for a different reason and stuff like that. So it changed, and for the last sort of 4 to 5 years, I've actually had to have modern cars. Well, I say modern. The newest car I've ever owned is 2006.
So yeah, you got.
But, I wouldn't say new, but So James came up with this idea of, let's chat about daily drivers. Me and James both drive very different dailies. And we've included some people that we know, and we've included some sort of common ones you see out on the roads today. So yeah, have at it, have your discussion, and let's fire away.
Without further ado.
Oh yeah.
Right, so this is my daily driver. I actually drive an Alfa Romeo Giulietta. I've actually had 2 in my ownership in my lifetime, I should say. First one I drove, I jumped from. Well, actually, I drove the Mini daily for 3 years, and even when my Mini broke when the diff went, I drove another Mini, a Studio 2, and that worked quite well. But I ended up with a Fiat 500 because I wanted something a bit newer, but it was also quite small, and that was like the jump from a Mini to a Fiat 500, 2010 plate. It was a 1.4 Sport with a spoiler. It was bigger alloys. Looks quite cool in my opinion, but I think after about 9 months of ownership, I did not want to be seen in a Fiat 500 anymore. Although Mark still drives a Fiat 500 technically.
I have access to one. Yeah.
And I decided I want something better, but for some reason I've got a soft spot for Italian cars, so it's I ended up with a white Giulietta 2011, and that had a 1.4 turbo with 170 brake, and that was nice. That was nice, a big jump from, I think it was 54 brake from the Mini, 100 horsepower in the Sport, 1.4 Sport 500, and then to 170 brake. I had that for a couple of years, almost 2 years I think, the white one, but it had problematic multi-air problems, which typical Italian car really, isn't it?
Yeah.
and I decided that I've just had it replaced, the multi-air unit, luckily under extended warranty, and I was like, I need to get rid of this because it was starting to play up again less than a year later. So I ended up with my Cloverleaf edition Giulietta, which comes with the 1.75 turbo at 240 brake, and I've been in love with it ever since. Really, never had really an issue. I've taken it to Brands Hatch. I've done some pretty harsh driving on Brands Hatch with it, and it didn't miss a beat. And it still has.
Took it to the Yorkshire Dales.
Took it to the Yorkshire Dales. Had a beat in there as well.
Bit of launch control.
Bit of launch control, but I haven't really done much miles in it really. But it was ex demo, so I bought it at about 2,500 miles, and it's at 35 now. It's the most miles I've done in any car is this one. It's actually the Alfa Romeo red, which is very similar to Ferrari red, not the sort of maroon one that you see in this picture. But it's a future classic in my mind. They've just stopped manufacturing it, and it is such an eye turner, and there's a big community.
Yeah, I really like it. It's a beautiful looking car, front and back. It's very Italian styled. It's an aggressive but pretty looking car. Like it's got a really sort of snarly looking front to it, but it's also very elegant. Like the grille, the lights. It's very Italian. It just is very well. I really like it. You know, I've obviously said to you a lot of times that I like it. It sounds lovely as well.
Yeah, only what I've done is take the middle silencer out, so it's just got the original back box, but it does sound good. And it's quiet on the motorway, but when you put your foot down, you do get a nice rumble. Yeah. Feel like I've been talking about it for a while now, but I will do a video on this car as a sort of reviews, retrospective, future classic, in my opinion. And there's a very big thing for this. I'm actually part of the Giulietta enthusiasts on Facebook, and there's a lot of people in there, and there's a big love for this car. There's, like, I think for a modern car to see the sort of size of the community that follows it, it's got to be one up there. Definitely.
That's excellent.
And we'll go on to the next one. If I remember how to advance the slide, that's kind of...
I'm seeing people chat away there. I've seen Fiesta STs, another Fiat 500s, Transit Connect van. Tony wants a Ranger Raptor. That's just a cool car. It's cool to see other people's what they have. So and a lot of people drove minis or still drive minis, which is nice.
Oh, it's my fault. I need to.
Bought an MGZR. Oh, MGZR, that's a sore subject for me. I bought one of them. I had it for about 3 months, and I absolutely hated it.
Oh, I remember when you had that.
It's the only car that I got ID'd in Morrison's buying 2 packs of super glue to glue my dashboard back together. So just every time I went over a pothole, something fell out of it or fell off it, and it's awful. It just shows why the MPI later minis got bad. That's how the build quality went. But there also is a massive following for them as well, and people race them, and I mean, in my eyes, strip them out and race them because the engines can be very well tuned. So, but moving on to the next one, this is a B5 Passat. I actually have the facelift model of this, so basically got some chrome bits on it. It's done 219,000 miles to date. It gets hammered. I do well over 300, nearly 400 miles a week. It gets absolutely hammered. It's the 130 PD engine, so TDI.
Bulletproof.
It's not a high tax bracket really for what it is. James has been in it. It's pretty knackered.
Suspension knocks every corner, but it's a tank. It still goes.
But it seems to just keep going. It retains an easy 55, 60 miles per gallon on a really good trip with a good, once it's had a good service. But on average with sprightly driving, I probably get 45, 50 to it, and that's what I always reset my trip computer every week, and that's what I'm sort of getting. So it really is motorway miles. It probably does 3 or 4 miles a day off the motorway. It literally is motorway destination. It just sits there, cruise control at 70 the whole time. So it is what it is. Very comfy car, very spacious car, loads of space in the boot. Recently come down to help James with MJ in the truck, and just loaded anything we wanted into the back of it. The suspension doesn't like it. Sam and Tony, that I know of you viewing this, we had a look at my car this week because we're doing the bottom arms on it soon, and the shocks could do with replacing. Or if anyone wants to donate some really cheap coilovers, let us know. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a daily car. The reason I've got that is it cost me £500. Then I sold the roof box for 50 quid, so it owes me 450. Had a year's MOT on it, and it got an extension because of COVID. So I've had my money's worth out of it this year. I've owed it a year next month, and it's been fine, to be fair. Apart from servicing, it's not needed anything. Oh, I did calipers on it a few months ago just before it needed its MOT, if you know what I mean. But I knew about that when I bought the car, so can't knock it. So it's a cracking little car for the money, really. Oh, big car for the
You
money.
got so much out of that, and like you said,
Yeah.
just being in a state, you could throw everything in the back, and it doesn't. Well, if the suspension wasn't knocking as much, it would be absolutely fine with the weight. But
It literally handles like a boat. It's awful. But like I said, for me, I throw stuff in it. I think I've driven around with 2 side windows for a Mini in it for 3 or 4 months, giving them to Tony. I only gave them to him the other day. Yeah, it's good because if some parts come up cheap for the Minis, I can literally know I can pretty much get anything in it. I know officially I can actually fit 2 pallets, one in front of each other, laying the whole floor of the car with the seats down. So it's a very big car to be able to fit 2 pallets in the back. So it's right up there with the V70 Volvo for space, really. But yeah, I bought it because I needed a cheap diesel, really, and that came up relatively local, and it is what it is. So yeah, that's me. That covers me and James, I guess. Very different cars, very different sort of reasons we own them, I guess.
yeah, I wouldn't be throwing tools and crap in the back of my Alfa. It would.
Exactly. It's a shop car.
I don't drive it. Although 40 to the gallon on the motorway, but at the moment I think I've been doing short journeys and I've got like 24, 25. Especially when I just put my foot down because I want to listen to it. But there you go.
That's your fault.
Oh yes, the Mazda CX-3 that is somewhat submitted by Chris Champion, wherever he is hiding.
Yeah.
He has a bit of a soft spot for Mazdas. He's actually owned quite a few Mazdas. Mazda 6, Mazda 3, now Mazda CX-3. All pretty much from, well, 2 of them from new, 1 of them from almost new. Yeah, this car looks big on the outside, surprisingly small on the inside. Like
the windows look very small.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of panel sort of space, but
it's just one of those. I don't know. I've driven it only short distance actually, but it's yeah, it's alright. It's not bad. It's got if you like your Japanese technology, which it has everything pretty much, and the Sky Active engines, which is obviously their big thing that they sell now, where it's not really start stop. It literally doesn't use the starter motor to re-engage. It literally just carries on the next compression stroke by sparking a bit of fuel in the plug, so it basically jump starts it every time. But apparently that's very economical, and it has the ability to adjust the is it air to fuel ratio, or is it the I think it has the ability to adjust it, so it actually goes of course it compression I don't know, it adjusts something. I need to read up on it again, but it actually is when it does that you can know when it's doing it because it sounds like a bag of nails. It sounds really odd, but it's the emissions and how economical it is, and well, it does all right on the MPG, I think. But
yeah, I've actually recently been looking at Mazdas myself because I'm talking about the Passat.
I'm just gonna grab
it
it.
isn't going to live forever. And the Mazda 3 is a very good option for me, or the Mazda 6. But the Mazda 3, I don't necessarily need a massive car, and you can pick them up for a lot of money. You can pick them up that beautiful red as well that one is, and Chris's is red as well. So yeah, they are very, very sort of nice cars. Loads and loads of spec on them, like James mentioned, and I think a lot of car for your money. I mean, you can pick a second-hand 3, 4, maybe 5-year-old Mazda up for really not a lot of money. 3 or 4 grand some of them, and that's a lot of car. And to be honest, and I know a lot of people have mentioned them in the chats, I'm not one to buy Fords really, or I like something different, and I think the Mazda is very different. The styling's very nice and aggressive looking. It's very sharp. And it's one of them, go big or go home. They're very different looking to any other car out there. Everything looks the same now. Again, I'm sorry everyone's got one out there, but to me, BMWs, they all look the bloody same. The 3, 5, 6, literally the only difference is the size, but the lights, the back, they all look the same. They just look like they're photoshopped it and made it bigger. And for me, that's just, there's no individual sort of taste with that. You can do is change the color in the wheels, and I find that really boring in modern cars. Hence why I don't really have many modern cars, or haven't had many modern cars. So that's the Mazda.
Yeah, you was looking at the Mazda 3 MPS, wasn't you? And
Yeah,
I must
yeah.
admit, the Mazda 3 MPS with the 2.2 petrol, or was it?
2.2, yeah.
Yeah, and 280 brake, is it, the MPS? Or is it?
The new one's 288, I think, or 287, and they do a bit better on fuel now because they got a slightly eco-y engine, but they got basically a smaller hybrid turbo than thingy. But yeah, that's an option for me as a daily. It's a bit of a fun car, but I always see modern cars and I'm like, yeah, it's a great idea. And then I'm like, well, all that money I can put into the Mini, or I can buy a house with that, or and for me, I just prefer to run a crap car for a couple of years and then dispose of it. I know it's really wasteful, but I'm buying cars at the end of their life anyway, or buying them as MOT failures. So I'm sort of giving them another lease of life for a few years and then sort of binning them off. But I've never ever, no, I've never actually scrapped a car. I've had a Skoda Fabio and the engine blow up, and I actually still sold that for spare to repair. So I've never actually scrapped a car before, and I don't really believe in it. I feel like if you can use it for something, then you should. It's a very wasteful world we live in.
Well, I think that proves when they come to take Ned away, there was not much of a car to go away, was there?
No, sorry, yeah, my common mistake got written off. I cut the roof off it, the doors and everything else was bent, the engine came out. There really wasn't anything left. And then when he lifted it up on the crane, I said, can I have the wheels and a few of the bits of the suspension off it as he lifted it up? So yeah, if you watch the channel, you know that we try and preserve as much as we can and try and recycle as much as we can, because we're only here once, and if we ruin the world as well, it's not the best of things. And I just think it's very wasteful. We do waste a lot of things, and people over-restore cars, and I think that's very wasteful. So
hence why we've got, I think every single bolt that has come off a Mini that I've owned is still sitting in a drawer in our garage, because you never know when it might come in useful.
Exactly, and you never can get a hold of it.
Exactly, yeah.
You can just put that on the wire wheel, clean it up, and bang it back in again.
Yeah. Perfect. Is that Nissan?
What is it? I haven't seen it change yet. So this is Tony's car. So this is a Nissan Pathfinder, and again I included it because it's just so different to the previous ones. So obviously it's a big four-wheel drive, very capable vehicle. Personally, I've seen it. It's massive. I've been in it. It's well equipped for what it is. A lot of people know about these. It's basically a Nissan Navara.
I'm gonna say I thought, yeah, in my head I was thinking Navara, but I was like, no, it's Navara has to pick
so
up.
It's basically
the
Navara with a fixed back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony's just going to their Percy, so it's nicknamed Percy the Park Keeper. I don't know why. Don't know half why. But yeah, it's a very big sort of massive utility vehicle, isn't it? I mean, I think Tony's even green laned it a few times. You could tow a house down with it. Very solid engines. I don't think he's had major problems with it in his ownership either. I do know that the Nissan Navaras, they have problems with chassis snapping and things like that, or cracking.
Yeah, they rust and bend in, don't they?
Yeah, so I don't think the Pathfinder struggles with that, as it's not such a
it's covered, isn't it?
Vehicle.
It was. Yeah, I think it was the gap between the cab and the back. It was just it was a water trap, and it just rusted out.
Yeah, so I think it's very common to pick up, especially when they get old. But I do think that was happening quite early on with the Nissans, and they're actually taking them back as recalls and giving them new chassis and stuff, or giving you a new car.
I did hear they did recall it on some of them, especially the early models.
Yeah, so wanted to include that. It's very, very different to the others you've just seen. So yeah, what's your views on that?
Simon said he rolled a 79,000 into a ditch and scrapped that. Yeah, well, that wasn't intentionally scrapped. So
no, it's not like you've driven it to the scrapyard.
Yeah. And someone had a Calibra. I need to think what Calibra looks like now.
The Vauxhall Calibra, that's an old car.
Oh no, I saw one of those come up for sale on a Facebook group actually recently, and I thought I got a bit of a soft spot for old Vauxhalls. Like, I still like the old Cavalier that I had, and if someone was selling like a 94, 95 Cavalier SRI, which has like the 2-litre turbo petrol engine in it, it's got like 260 brake or something, and I was like, for a Cavalier that's probably a bit dangerous, but
you need to talk to Pete a bit more.
Yeah, he loves his Vauxhalls, doesn't he? He was the Vauxhall Master Fit technician, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I guess he was more than a technician. He was probably, what do they call a Master Fit mechanic? Is that what they?
Master Techs or
Master
something.
Tech, yeah.
VW Caddy, yeah, I've known quite a few people to have them. Seem to be great little vans.
My I don't like them, but I've driven. Well, maybe the earlier models were different, but I've just got my work van is a VW Caddy, so and I drove a 2017 model for 3 years, and it was as a van to drive or little van to drive. It was all right, but it was plasticky. It was crap. Couldn't keep the clock in time. It
Yeah, I've heard that.
Battery failed all the time. As soon as it got cold, battery wouldn't start the thing. I have heard injectors are a big problem on the Caddy engines, but
They are just the diesel, ain't the old Volkswagen
diesel.
diesels anyway.
I don't know if that's fixed in the later revisions, but I've just got a brand new 20 Caddy, 20 plate Caddy for work, and I've been driving that a lot. And I mean, that's just done about 600 miles now, but and I think it's all right. I think it's a little van, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like maybe a little Ford Transit Connect or something would be a bit better in terms of a van. The Caddies are a bit. I don't know.
What about Citroen Nemo?
Yeah, I think it's any sort of small van. They're designed for like industrial workhorses, aren't they? And I think I'm just expecting too much from a new van. That the build quality is going to be good, but the build quality, in my opinion, is just shocking.
But now you used to Edith, and you're like,
I'd rather drive Edith, to be honest.
bare bones.
Yeah. If I could fit all the tools in the back of Edith, I would, but convert.
Put a caddy box on it.
Yeah, exactly. But convert her back to a panel van. Well, she never was a panel van, but.
No.
But.
Put Luton on the back.
Yeah. Oh, is this a 350Z by any chance? Was it free? It must be 350. Yeah. Someone was talking about 350s in the chat earlier, weren't they?
Yeah. So this again. So we've had like all of our cars now that are involved with the channel. So this is Sam's. You've seen him in some videos. His dad's one that owns the Midas. This is not the colour of his. He's got a grey one. But Nissan 350Z. I've not personally driven it, but what a car! I mean, yeah, it's a lot of car, and I think you can pick them up now for about 7 grand. That is a lot of car for your money. It's a big old V6, rear-wheel drive, big GT Tourer sort of car. I would love to have a drive of one, to be honest. I think
I would like to drive one.
the strong V6 engine.
It's a very odd. I always thought it was odd that it was manufactured by Nissan. To be honest, I just never really see them being in the sport car market. And of course, this car did redefine it for them, and they've gone on to make some great sport cars, especially cars that go fast.
It was the Datsun 240Z replacement, basically, wasn't it? So.
And then obviously they really kind of revolutionised launch control and straight line speed. They really went for it in the later models, but
they do the 370Z now, which is a bit shorter and a bit chunkier looking. But I personally think the 350 looks a bit nicer. It's a bit longer and stretched out.
So this is Sam's, isn't it? Sam's daily driver, right?
Yeah. So
I don't think he's here tonight.
This discussion. So James has got an Alfa Giulietta, nice, quick, but very usable car. You can fit, 5 people in it if you wanted to. I've got an old boat. Tony's got a big 4x4, which you can fit the world in the back. Then we've had like the Mazda, and then we've got that, which is, depending on what you do and your own circumstances, you can have what you want as a daily. This is what we're trying to say in this daily thing, that, I personally have a lesser daily because I park it on the street. I park it on the street at work. I don't see the point in spending a lot of money on it. It's another car I just really don't have to worry about. I just maintain it and drive it. That's all I do. But yeah, I'd love, like Sam's very sort of proud of his Nissan, and I think James is the same with his Alfa, and it is what it is. You have different cars and you have different tastes. If I could afford to run a 350Z daily, that would be great. I bet they're quite thirsty. I think they're quite high on tax as well.
Yeah, I think they are in the £300 bracket. And I doubt they do that great MPG. Well, I think for you, you need another.
I'd be like £300 a week in fuel.
What you need, Mark, is an electric car.
Yes, I could do with one. Government could help me with one.
Yeah. Think of all that money you would save on your commute.
I know. Be good.
Well,
Charge it at work, charge it at home.
apparently the tax is a lot higher than we think.
Yeah. Tony's saying about the splitter because Tony's actually painting the front splitter off Sam's. So that's why he's brought that comment up. So.
Is this a
So, yeah,
207?
people commenting on.
Is this a
So
207?
yeah. So I don't actually know anyone that has one of these. I've known people that have had them, but this is again like a complete. This is what you see on the road these days, or not so much this anymore. A lot of them are disappearing off the roads. But how many of these have you seen in your life?
I've driven
Up and down.
I've driven 3 207s. Ironically, they were 3 different 207s that my driving instructor had, and I learnt to drive in a 207. So that's the first car I had properly driven on the road, was that car, and it was awful. But I passed my test in it, so I must have done something right.
See, I've only ever driven one out of a garage and put it around the corner basically when I worked at a garage, and the only thing I can remember of it is I opened the door and water poured out the door. I got in it and it stank, and the clutch was so bad on it. I mean, I'm not one for stalling cars. I'm jumping in and out of cars all the time, and that was one of the worst cars. And I moved it about, I don't know.
Ironically, the reason
15 meters.
I think out of the 3 207s that I drove, 2 of them had clutch issues. Funny you should say that. And I was kind of blaming it was a learner driver's car. Learners were just, riding
Well, this could have well been. So
riding the clutch and stuff. But the third one, someone crashed into it, so you had to get a higher one. But they give them like for like. So, but they're all new. They're all less than a year old. They're rented, so a year or 2 old. So they weren't new and fresh, and new car feeling. But I had the diesel engine in it, and it was it was alright. But
I think the diesel engines are the good bit. I think they do go on for a long time. They do some heavy mileage. I just think I'm not going to say it because we technically have a French car now, and I know a lot of people viewing probably own French cars, but I've never been a lover of French cars, and I say that in the video with Edith, the first one. I've never desired to own anything French, and cars like that and experiences like that really do tell me why.
Well, that is a pure.
Edith's changing my mind.
That's a purebred French car. Edith is technically Italian, so I'm
technically a Fiat.
It is a Fiat. It's Fiat design, Fiat parts, with the odd Citroen part thrown on top to make it look French. But
so we'll let her off.
But I guess original manufacturer was Citroen. The plaque says Citroen, so.
Yeah, Graham just said they're dreadful as well, so we're going to go with Graham. He's pretty good with these cars.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving on to the next one. This is what, like I say, that's what I've thrown in there. There's basically our dailies we've had, and then ones you see commonly on the road. So I will have missed a few. This is just purely this discussion, guys. So
no 2CV for the channel. Well, they're unique.
You don't know actually. I wouldn't mind driving one of them.
They are classic, and
they are.
That would.
I want to corner really hard in one because I've known someone that's cornered in one. They've actually managed to touch the ground because the corner's that hard.
Really like the suspension can go literally something like 75 degrees before it will topple over. So literally like.
And what's the test that we've got to do? You've got to drive across a field with some eggs. I mean,
you can't crack any eggs, and.
So. Maybe one for the channel, guys.
It was designed for the farmers to drive across their muddy fields without it.
Yeah, they're little van pickup versions.
Without it bogging down and be able to get across the mud pits without getting stuck. And it could literally drive over a hump in the grass that was like half a metre tall, but because of this independent suspension on each corner, it literally just swung out, didn't it?
Yeah.
It works.
So next one on the screen, we all know it. We all might hate it, but that is a very late. I think they call it the F356. I think I don't know. I've forgotten now. I don't really pay a lot of attention to the later minis.
Oh, they didn't stick to the R53, 57.
No, they changed, didn't they, just to make it because it's BMW.
German.
I mean, I've just discussed BMW. Yeah, I love the R50. I don't mind the R56, but I really do not like these later minis. I just think they look awful. It looks like a goldfish. It's massive as well. It's probably about the size of James's Alpha.
Yeah, but
or a Vauxhall Corsa.
Probably quite a bit tighter inside as well.
Yeah, so
I don't know. I seem to have got a bit of a soft spot for them lately. But
Or even that era,
no, I think the original sort of the Mark
the
ones, the
R50.
R50s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I do kind of fancy buying. I want to buy one to fix up and sell on. It's something that I might do for the channel. It'd be interesting to see what people think, obviously, because we mainly work on the classic minis. Would they
Yeah.
like to see? I know we've had R50 or Mark had R50 on the channel
Yeah, the
before,
pre-production one.
um, but I don't know. I want to drive one. I kind of want to. I have driven the John Cooper Works supercharged on a
Do
test.
you remember IMM we
Yeah,
drove
that's
one?
that's the only time I've driven one.
Yeah, that's where I
I know
drove it as well.
2014.
It was quick, but it wasn't like I want to go and buy one sort of quick.
Well, I had my Alpha at that time, and I told him at the time that, oh, what car have you got? I said, oh, okay. And I was like, well, I'm actually quite curious to see, is this faster than my Alpha? And actually, even though it was like 200 brake with the supercharger, sounded awful in my opinion. It had that really like cluttery supercharger noise, and it didn't like it's not like a turbo noise where you get the dub valve and everything. You know, you get the whine, and I didn't personally
Yeah,
like it. But I put my foot down in it, and I didn't feel it was that much faster than my Alpha. My Alpha's a bit heavier with 170 brake, and I much preferred the Alpha, to be honest.
yeah,
Ironically, BMW tried to ring me about 6 times after IMM 2014,
yeah. I had the same.
trying to sell me one. They're like, "Oh, you test drove this. Please
Yeah,
come down and we can talk about, selling you one." I ignored them, to be honest.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. I got a bit more of a soft spot for them.
yeah.
Um,
So there's a comment there that someone's wife's got one, and he was anti-mini before, but he's actually uploading a video now. If you haven't seen his channel, go and check it out. I have actually seen. I think you have got a video, or you've put something on Instagram about it. So yeah, you have got that same sort of shape as well. Like I say, for me, I think like someone in my family's actually got I think it's an R56, but it's a diesel, so it's a Mini Cooper diesel. It's free road tax. I think it's a Peugeot Citroen engine or something. Um, but yeah, it's a good old car. It is what it is. They are what a Mini was back in the day. Now they just don't look the same. They're a car for the people kind of thing. So, and it's nice to see the brand still mooching around and doing its own thing. And I'm using that mooching word again, but yeah, they are what they are. They're a very common car, and that's why I've included it with this. There's loads of options of finance to buy them and get them quite cheaply these days. So that's why I put that one out there for you guys.
there's one thing I'm excited about BMWs, and I think apart from classic cars or old cars, old bangers, whatever it may be, the next sort of car that I own that is potentially a replacement for the Alpha. I've always said I'll buy electric. I'd always want an electric
Mm.
car next, and the new Mini
Yeah, they do an E,
Cooper
don't
E,
they?
or Mini City E. I can't remember what they call it now. One of
Which I actually don't think it looks that bad.
I don't either. I think I like the fact that it looks like a Mini and it's
You get like
electric.
200-mile range in it as well.
I don't think it's as good as what they've made out. I think a lot of people are reviewing that you get about 130-mile range, 140. Um,
Still, it's still
but
more than some of the
it's
other ones
doable
out.
for me, for someone who did like, especially last year I did 3,000 miles in my Alpha. It's letting the car sit and charge for overnight or a day to recoup maybe a few hours in there, not have to worry about fast charging. You just charge it off the mains. A car like that for me is
Yeah,
what I want. And I mean, over the next couple of years, when I am looking to get an electric car,
yeah. The prices have
the
come down a
prices will
bit.
come down a bit, and I think that's what I would like to have, a some sort of, I don't know. We was talking about Renault Zoes the other day, but because they're a lot cheaper at the moment, second hand. They've
Mm.
been around for a while, but I don't.
Nissan Leafs as well.
I've driven
BMW is it i1 or whatever it
I've
is.
driven the original Leafs, and do you know what? Yeah, it's only got a 90-mile range, but it's quick, it's nippy. You can get it's a bit of a tank. You can get shitloads in the back. It's good.
Yeah,
Um, but I think if the original Nissan Leafs had maybe like 120, just over 100 miles in range, not 90, because it really
mm.
limits how far you can go on one. Because like, be a bit of a struggle to go to Brighton and back, sort of. From where I
Yeah.
am, it's not, and that's not really that far. So
And obviously, moving forward with electric cars, you have put the elephant in the room. But there is the T word, isn't there? They are leading it, aren't they, Tesla? I mean, even their entry-level cars over 200-mile range. So if it's moving forward, and unfortunately, as much as I was sort of on the fence of it, I've eaten my words over the years with them anyway. Because even just with the Nissan Leaf, with the BMWs that have come out, with the Mini E now, it's the future, whether you like it or not. It is, and you've either got to get on the program or you're just going to get left behind. And I think
I've said it before. I think I said it before in the live stream a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about electric cars. Is for me, the more people that have electric, the more fuel there is for me to enjoy a classic at the weekend. So
yeah, I think we both discussed that, didn't we? Like, in the ideal world, you'd have an electric daily and enjoy your classic for the weekend. And then while your daily's on charge for your next week commute, you can be mooching around in your Mini or your Classic or your Maxi or your Citroen Relay truck or whatever. It is a good balance of life. I think if you look at
the good thing about diesels is that you're always going to be able to run a diesel, even if natural or diesel does eventually come from crude oil. But you can run diesels on vegetable oil and cooking oil.
There's alternatives.
There is alternatives, and the same with technically with petrol. You can get ethanol, bioethanol based fuel, which is what they're trying to turn into anyway. They're putting more and more ethanol into petrol. As you know, we're going to get the problem with the E10 classic minis. They're not going to enjoy E10 so much, especially the injection models. The car models will probably be a bit of an easier conversion because you wouldn't have to change too much to cope with the extra ethanol in the tank. But
But this is what we're going to face with our classics now.
Yeah,
it's happening. It is definitely happening. So,
but
not great.
There you go. Maybe I'll have a Mini E at some point.
Be good for the channel.
Any electric car.
Yeah. Tony's got ethanol kills classics. He's right, especially Tony owns a carbureted classic, and they do. So this is another one thrown out there. It's an Audi A3. How many of these do you see on the road? The A1, the A3, the A6, the A8, the A10, the A7, the A whatever. I'm not an Audi fan. You see them everywhere on the road. They're built German. They're German-built cars. They're very sort of popular. They seem to be very reliable. We don't see many kicking around the sides of the hard shoulder or anything. Quite a nice looking car really out there, but again for me it has no personality. They look the same. Every single one. I mean, looking at that's James's Alpha's competitor. That's a 5-door hatchback, and look at it, it's just a bop.
Oh god, I need a new computer. Mine's getting old and crap now.
We're back.
Where are we?
Yeah, it's got a Polo on the screen now, guys.
Oh, look at those stuff.
Yep, Chris has said that. Put an Audi A3 up and that's what you get. So moving on with this, we want to wrap this up a little bit now. So the next one is a Polo. So, again, going alongside all the others, how many of these do you see on the road? Obviously, I don't know what year that is. It's just another Volkswagen. It looks like a 14, 15, maybe 16 plate. I don't know. But that's another sort of common car that's out there. There's, again, probably in the same sort of bracket as the Peugeot and the Fiestas and stuff like that. So again, I think the TDI engine's very, very good. I see so many of them on the roads. They must be pretty decent. Skoda Fabia, basically the same car, just different badge.
What car doesn't chassis share these days?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Volkswagen Polo is definitely one out there.
Not a future classic though.
No. Although the early Polo bred fans.
Even the live stream thought the Audis were rubbish. Yeah, it was really odd. It was like my computer was still fine, but the actual streaming software and YouTube decided to crash, and it wouldn't let me exit it, and I couldn't restart it, and it was just like, I'm going to blame the bad weather, and maybe there's a lightning storm somewhere that's interfering with things.
There's always an excuse.
There's something somewhere, yeah. Or I just need to buy a new computer, but maybe one day. Oh, a colleague of mine at work has probably this model actually, although he's got different alloys.
It's an E46. I've had a touring one of these, and it's my only BMW I've ever owned, and I wouldn't own another. Um, it was a good car. I had it for about 3 years. Let go because the clutch just literally was starting to become non-existent. I didn't lose too much money on it. I had a good 3 years out of it. Really didn't cost me anything, but it's just so boring. It's like the Passat, but I paid a lot more for that than I did for the Passat. Yeah, I think they're becoming quite collectible now in the sense that people are using them for drifting and things like that. They're the amount you see on the road with different rear wheels. So I think they're getting a bit of a following now, which all old BMWs do tend to. They're very popular in that respect.
I just got to say, thanks guys for coming back to us because we did lose everyone for about 5 minutes there, and we actually got more viewers than we did before. So
yeah, thank you very much.
And it's good to see Andy. He's back. He's on the homebrew, so he's going to be interesting night for Andy. David is saying there is no light in Surrey, and to be honest, the humidity is high where I am, but no lightning, to be honest.
Can I just say something? Is the northern weather better than the south right now?
Yes, it is. Yes, definitely. It's been overcast, cloudy, and about 24 today. So
yeah. So yeah, not really a lot to be said on the Oh, Andy's coming in with some BMW stuff. Yeah, it is what it is. That's again another basic car that's out there. It's quite common. In the background, you can actually see there's a Polo. So it just rests my case how common they are. So yeah, I don't know what else we've got coming up next, but that's that sort of your saloon, quite common. Again, I think the E90 replaced that. They're a bit more common on the road now because they're just a bit more affordable. Again, V70 Volvo. Oh yes, now this is a beast. I had a D5, one of these, one of my favourite cars I've ever owned.
Could I class this as a midlife crisis car?
A V70? I think it's a pensioner's car.
Well, that's it. I think you get to like 40, 50 years old and you go, I need a tank or a land yacht just to get my shit everywhere.
I've always had tanks and land
yachts. Well, that's it, yeah. But well, especially I'm quite the opposite. I like to go, I want something fast. I want the most brake horsepower, and I don't care if I can't put all my tools in the boot. Well, the Alpha does pretty well. I want bucket seats, and which the Alpha does have. So that was quite. They are quite. You think they're quite comfortable, don't you?
Yeah, they're
for factory.
Nice. But talking of comfort, that is the most comfortable, best MPG car, torquiest car I've ever owned. It ticked every single box. Out of all the cars I've owned, look-wise, yes, people probably don't like a Volvo, but it was a very well put together car. It's very comfortable inside. Had all the toys. Consider it's an 03 plate. Had everything in it. Good MPG. Pulled like an absolute train. I think I had an A series engine and an engine crane and a bag of tools in the back, and it still pulled like there was nothing in it. Great car. One of the best cars I've ever owned.
I think if you want a workhorse or a work car / not having to drive like a caddy, and you still want the option of 5 seats, it's definitely a car to have. It's
very safe as well.
Yeah, they don't budge an inch really. Then you might get a scuff bumper, but crash rails don't dent in those things, do they?
No, they're the SIP side impact control system, don't they? And yeah, you can feel it. I mean, if you look at the specs of it, the weight of that, there's probably a 700 kilo difference between that and my Passat, and they're the same size car. So yeah, I don't know how much love there is for the Volvo out there, but I love the common rail diesel D5. It was great, really, really good. Yeah, so 5-cylinder, the petrol 5-cylinders. Yeah, for me, again, someone just put it there, Dave Martin, the BTC touring car 850. Oh, what a dream car!
I think
dream car.
Graham's going to be upset about that. I said if being 50 is a midlife crisis. If I wasn't 50, I would know sort of about Maxis. But yeah, I know a lot about Maxis, and I was only like 6 years old when I was first in one. So it was. I was probably even younger than that actually. I know we haven't brought it up yet, but I am still desperately. eBay pickings and Car and Classic have been non-existent for Maxis for a good month, 2 months now, and there was a really nice one, Mark 1 750 manual, and he only wanted like £3.5 grand for it. It looked like as good as you're going to get for an old Maxi. And I kind of wish I at least went and gone and saw it and maybe bought it then. But it was about the same time I bought Edith, and my money went towards Edith in the end. So it was just one of those things. But I'm a bit sad now. And then we also saw that other one. We didn't have Edith at that time. The white one that had the dent in the side, but went quite cheap. And then it went the original. It sold for it in eBay for like 1,600, 1,700 pounds, and then it was back up on eBay because someone messed him around.
Yeah.
And I was like, by the second time it sold, it went up for a bit more. It went for just over two, and I was like, I've got Edith now, and I'm like, I could go pick it up now. I've got Edith, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
so if anyone knows of a maxi that is in somewhat okay condition that wouldn't require too much welding by Mark to sort, considering it's probably going to be fabricating panels.
Yeah, I can't imagine there's much available for them.
I don't know. I was hoping there'd be more available, but
You know what you could do though, if the exterior of it looks okay, but the underneath of it's gone, you can just cut all the underneath of it out, put a modern car underneath it, and still have your maxi looks. But I don't know, just like rear-wheel drive under it.
well, if I was going to do something like that, I'd like put a maxi chassis on like a no, maxi shell on like a Nissan Leaf or something. You know, make it electric.
That'd be ace.
An electric maxi. I don't think anyone in the history of the world would ever make an electric maxi.
The BL technicians right now, they're just like, oh, what is happening?
Yeah, they. Maybe. Well, to be fair, the actual original maxi engines, there's not many of those around, so it might be a strong possibility.
Yeah.
To keep the chassis and the interior, but have a electric running gear. To be honest, there's plenty of room to put a big battery pack underneath that floor pan, so
Yeah,
it's a car to do on, bit better than a Mini. Oh, it's just the what do they call these again? I've forgotten.
Citroen C1.
C1, that's it. But it's also Peugeot also make one, don't they?
Toyota Aygo.
Aygo, that's it. Yeah.
Peugeot 107, isn't it?
107, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I seem to know a lot about
It's
Peugeot.
Toyota Aygo underneath, basically. Again, we just talked about chassis swap. How many cars share the same chassis? There's so many of them out there, isn't there? So again, this is a common car you see every single day on the roads. I think on my street alone, there's 4. It's just a very common car. They seem to be pretty decent. I actually know someone that's got one, an older one, and it gets abused daily, and it seems to just get up and go every single day. They actually do race them. There's actually a racing series, a C1 championship. They actually handle very well.
Yeah.
3-cylinder engines. They're very good little cars. So I understand why people do like these. And they're again a little car you can just pick up for a few £100, drive for a year, ditch it, get the next one.
Is that the
or have that
same car that one of our friends helps out with the racing teams? Is it C1s that he does, or is it? Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, C1 championship. Yeah. So very good little cars, I guess. I've never driven one, but I've been in a passenger of an earlier one, and I can't knock it for a few £100.
Oh, Andy says it's going downhill with the C1s. Like we had the nice cars at the start of the
video. Yeah, we've had the Alfa Romeos, the Sats, the Mazdas. Yeah. So what's next? Go on. What have we got next?
Golf. No
one liked the C1. Again, another very common car on the road. It's the Mark V, I think. I've never had one. I've driven a few. They drive nice. They just drive like my car about the boot, basically. They do drive really nice. Again, there's just so many of them about. I think they're falling very...
I didn't realise Carl was also live streaming again tonight.
All right.
That's where Andy was. But it's one of those things.
We won't take it personally that
no,
we went there first.
No, it's fine. We're going to clash, unfortunately, quite often. Yeah. So just one of those things. I want a Fiat Panda. There's not many Pandas on the road, though, is there? Unless you're James May, but...
No. I know a few people that have had Pandas or got Pandas. Again, chassis share. The Panda's the same as a Fiat 500.
Really?
Of it's exactly the same.
Same as a 500?
Yeah.
Not even the 500 XL?
So... No, the XL is a completely different chassis, but the Fiat that you had and the one we have, it's the same as the Panda, it's just different shell.
I knew they shared it with the Fiesta, not the Fiesta, the KA, that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I didn't
For
really.
the end cap safety things, both scored the same thing, the same chassis, same setup underneath.
No, it makes sense. It's a small
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Cheaper car to build then, isn't it? You just change the shell.
So does the newer Panda even have four-wheel drive then? How do they adapt four-wheel drive onto that chassis? Is it? I don't think. I didn't think.
No, I don't think the newer Panda. I think you can buy a Panda 4x4 and you can buy a Panda 100 horsepower, can't you? But I don't think that. I've never seen. I think that's just an option. The normal Panda's the same. Basically, the front wheel drive Panda's the same as the Fiat 500.
Oh, Grand knows, yeah. Um, yeah. Oh yeah, someone was asking us earlier about the Frost discount code. We're working on it, aren't we?
Yeah,
it was part of the original talks, but
yeah,
maybe we need to have a little talk with Frost and we'll see what we can do for you guys.
yeah. It's something we're, like I said, there's a few things we're in talks on at the moment, a few things we're trying to work out, a few things we're waiting for to come in for supplies ourselves. It is something up there. We do want to help you guys give something back, and that's the whole point of it, is to give something back. Frost are giving us something back in helping us. And obviously in return we're helping them, and then it's be nice to sort of complete the circle and help you guys. So because without you guys we wouldn't be doing any of this. So yeah, even if it's a one-off discount or if it's a discount code that you need to tune in with us to get it in a video or something, we'll work something out.
They're
It is something
normally
that
they're normally time based, aren't they? So if we get a code,
yeah,
we can
you'll get one
we'll
for
put it
a sale or something.
we'll put it in a video, but you might have to use it within so it's only going
Yeah,
to be active for so long.
might be a 28-day thing or something.
Yeah.
But again, if something we can talk about, and if we can get sent multiple codes throughout the year, maybe. You might fall lucky and grab one. So yeah, it's something I want to talk to you guys. But just keep an eye out on our social media and on our videos, and we'll keep you posted. Obviously on live streams.
One thing I will say, if you are desperate to order from Frost at the moment, sign up for their newsletter. They give you 5% off their first order. So
They do. Yeah, I was
um,
going to come. Yeah,
if you do want a discount and you want the parts now before we can potentially, it's we need to chat to them about it. Obviously, we don't want to promise anything that
yeah,
we don't know yet. So it's
yeah,
but there is definitely 5% out there already. If you are looking to order any day now.
yeah. I completely agree. I love how we've put a Volkswagen Golf up on the screen and then started talking about Fiat Pandas and Frost. Shows how much interest there was for the Volkswagen Golf.
Yes, I'm a bit sick of five-door courses, to be honest.
I just put it in there.
Oh, you do. I've been in so many now, and I'm probably going to be in another one very soon as well. No, don't know why, but they obviously this is my wife's car, so this is it's oh yeah,
Decent little cars, but again, they are what they are, aren't they?
they depreciate quickly, but the tech you get for your money is quite good. Very like I service it. I've done so many oil change, air filter change, cabin filter change, spark plugs, coil packs. I've done anything that goes wrong with these is generally very easy. I've done brake disc, brake pads. I've literally worked on this particular, the later model, the 2015 Mark. They call it Corsa E actually, is this because they went CDE I think, or there might even be an A and B at some point. But
Yeah, there is, of course, of course, yeah.
oh, she's hiding in the bedroom. The but as the one thing I will say is my wife loves it. It's got everything she needs: Bluetooth, stereo, DAB, everything. Works really well. Cruise control,
Yeah.
aircon, heated seats, heated steering wheel. Uh, heated screen as well. It's got everything, like more tech than my Alpha's got, and it works better than my Alpha as well.
Oh yeah, there's a reason.
The reason.
Yeah, there's a reason why people have them. They're again an all-rounder like the Fiesta, aren't they? So
One thing I will say, they do crumble very easily. The smallest amount of damage will write these cars off, as I have very too much first-hand experience of.
as Edith found out.
As he found out, and also someone decided to, oh, someone did write off my wife's car with a Golf, ironically, which was the Golf. This. But we managed to do a deal. We ended up buying the car back and actually getting it repaired from the same company that quoted the insurance company, but they gave us a much better deal when we went privately, so win-win. It just one of those things, but like I said, she's owned it from new. We own it outright. It goes from A to B. When I drive it up north, it gets 50 to the gallon. It's comfortable, it's smooth. Tyres are cheap. £30 road tax on this particular model. The newer ones don't get that, unfortunately. Like this is a 69 plate, so that would be on the £140 tax. But it's
Yeah, they're good little cars.
little cars.
So, John Ladd's just tuned in. Hi, mate. I think you've tuned in before, and I think you've commented on stuff on Instagram. So, thank you for tuning in. Of course, I've actually seen an advert on a YouTube video today with Corsa electric. So,
£30,000 car though. Would you spend £30,000 on a Corsa for an electric car? Considerably cheap. With I think it's got like 150-mile range, I believe.
Cheaper than the Mini.
Yeah, it is cheaper than the Mini. But it's I don't know. But have you seen the new Corsa design? Because I think to accommodate for the electric sort of running gear and battery pack, they've actually made it bigger. And they're also selling the same chassis with a petrol engine, diesel. I might have a diesel option, I'm sure, but it's the same design and the same chassis. But for both the electric or the petrol, I think the electric just has a slightly different interior because the battery pack sits underneath you. But it's just one of those things. John would never touch a Corsa. I
had a 56 plate Corsa. I had it for a month. They told me all the recalls were done. The car was a great little car, and I'd really enjoy it. I bought an ex-demo car. I think it only had 4,000 miles or something on the clock. I was really happy with it. Salesman did me over. I went in wanting a black one, came out of a bloody champagne-y coloured one because it was a full spec ex-dealer one. It caught my heart a little bit because it had everything in it. Had it for a month and it went back because it was absolutely buggered. So that's my experience with a Corsa, and I probably wouldn't own another one. But I think they've got better since then. So
Nova is the best Corsa, yeah. I think I would rather have a Nova.
Yeah, being overtaken.
Well, we might have a Nova to the channel at some point.
We have, yeah. We all like Rust and we all like Novas.
We have been offered to potentially work on one.
Yes, we have, yeah. So keep an eye out, guys, if you like your Novas. It's obviously going to happen once this Mini's gone, but
yeah. Do you know Evie's next? Oh, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we'll have a break from Minis.
We'll do Evie. We'll get it done. I'm not worried about Evie.
Oh, look who it is. This is daily driver Violet, right? Yeah, this is
Violet 2013.
This is how you first known. This is when you first got her, wasn't it?
Basically, on the other driver's side, there's a hole in the wing, like in the corner under the headlight, and I put those wheels on probably about 4 months after owning it. So she did have mini lights on it when I bought her. But yeah, so again, we're going to daily driver. It's another one right out there and very different to what we have got. But I daily drove her, and I still would if I could. I really enjoy driving her. We went out in the Yorkshire again the other day. It is what it is. I think, and these days people just stare at minis on the road. They're almost like alien cars. You know, they're as odd out there as electric cars because you don't see them anymore. So it's just proven, again, we threw it in the daily drivers. It was my daily driver many years ago. So it's 9 years I've owned that car now. But yeah, I'm sure there is people that still daily drive their minis.
Yep, sitting there with a crap number plate. You had that crap number plate for a long time, and I think I mentioned it every single time I saw it.
Yeah, it used to flap around in the wind. It happened because a bit of a wheel arch liner fell out of a car near where I was living at the time, and I had no way to avoid it, so I just hit it. And it smashed my number plate. And the number plate I still have, it's cable tied to that original grille, and that is the picture why I wanted my grille back to original, because if anyone's seen the recent video of Violet, she has that grille back now.
Yeah.
But I have that grille hanging up in my unit. It's hanging to bits with the old battered number plate on it still.
I was the last car of the. I can't go back. Sorry. Bye, Violet. We've gone back to.
So yeah, just a quick recap. We had the Alpha.
With the Alpha, the Passat, which is Mark's, the CX-3, which is my dad's, Tony's, not Navara Pathfinder, Sam's 350Z.
Yeah.
Many first time drivers, learners, 207. the
French track.
ever so popular BMW Mini, which is still probably one of the cars that depreciates in value the least. So it's a good investment if you bought one from new. The common A3s, which crashed my car, so I'm going to get off that really quickly. Crashed my computer, sorry. The Polo, was it 56 or 46? What was it?
What's that? E46.
E46. And then your Volvo's, I want to say
V70.
V70, that's it.
Lovely car.
I don't know, I looked at a V40 on Copart today and I was like, damn, that looks good.
I'd love a V40.
Yeah.
I want one in rebel blue.
This one was silver, but we are actually, we've been looking at...
Lizzie looks at a champagne coloured one, a cross-country one.
And then I think we caught up to where we were, yeah. We've actually been looking into Copart recently, and...
It's something that we're definitely thinking about doing.
Yeah, there's
big variation out there for us.
Maybe not the first different car we bring to the channel, but I think it will
definitely want the future.
It will open us up to getting a car a little bit cheaper, and because we've got Edith,
we can buy ones that are a bit damaged, unrecorded damaged cars or whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of unrecorded cars that come up. Always a bit of a gamble because auction cars are normally in there for a reason because they've got a big problem that someone's trying to hide, but. If we can pick one up,
what's life about a risk? Eh?
Exactly. If we can pick one up cheap enough, as long as if it turns out to be a bit of a turd and we have to sell it, and we could probably at least sell it for parts and make our money back in.
We buy another one and build one out of two.
Exactly. We keep the interior for one, get an engine from another. It's just one of those things. So, but
see you later, Graham. Thank you for making the effort and tuning in. Have a good night.
Yeah, have a good one, Graham.
And then we had Violet, which was my daily driver back in the day, and everyone else's that's probably tuned into this has daily driven a Mini at some point.
Yep, and obviously that was my Mini. I'm just going to move Mark over to the right here because I just want people to appreciate how shiny Edith.
Look at that, guys.
Look at that. You can see it.
Little sneak peek.
You can see everything there, and then obviously if I move us over to the left. Oh, look what she used to look like. That's a typical abused truck there.
Look at that. That's a work truck that side. A show truck the other side.
So, big video coming out.
Keep an eye out for a video, guys.
Friday it's coming out, yeah. But, and it's a feature length, and because we just couldn't.
We've got a lot of work into it.
We just couldn't. Once we started, we just couldn't stop, could we? And to be honest, I could have made the video longer, but I left out the interior clean because, well, it didn't really turn out much better than it already was. But
it was already clean. It's just dusty.
It was dusty, but there's 21 years of grime and dirt that probably has never been cleaned out. And even though I steam cleaned it to get most of that out, it probably needs doing again, and it will just need slowly it's one of those things where you just keep cleaning, eventually it will get everything out, but just such a mammoth task to start with.
So keep an eye out for that, guys. We've got Edith coming up, we've got an MPI video coming up, we have another road trip that has a twist coming up. I will try and get some more. I will try and get some more on the Budget Clubman. Really at the point now where it's financial. I'm collecting bits. I've got all the brake pipes now, fitted the master cylinder and clutch master cylinder the other day, so they're ready to go. It really needs I need to find a hub because the hub on one side is damaged. I'm converting it off the drums to discs, so I need to find a good hub. I think maybe a weekend, me and James having a weekend on it, we could probably get the front brakes together, hubs rebuilt, and maybe the brakes bled, and then it is a big step forward. She can sit properly on the ground on what she's going to be driving on, and then it's engine. It's how far we go, and it's going to be run what we've run sort of attitude. It's going to be a quick check of the clutch. It's going to be a quick whip the head off, maybe have a look, maybe not, and see what happens. Really, we are quite tempted to bench start it or floor start it, just for the crack. We've never done it. It'd be quite fun. So see what happens, guys.
We'll see. To be honest, I can imagine, I can see the engine just being dumped in, and we'll work on it in the bay. And being a clubman, you've got plenty of room to work on one. So we just hope the clutch is all right. We don't. That is the gamble, isn't it? But
Yeah, the slave cylinder's seized, but that could just be the arm and the slave cylinder seized. It might not mean the clutch is seized. So it needs to come apart because it's going to be a pain in the arse if we put it in and the clutch is seized. So it's just going to be a horrible job.
might be worth taking the cover off, pulling the clutch, just checking it.
Doing the oil seal maybe
Or
because that'll be dry.
that'll be because they sit for so long. It just puts a dent in
Yeah.
the clutch oil seal, doesn't it? So
Yeah, so it's worthwhile doing
we'll
that.
do
If anyone
that,
saw our one video.
and then we can clean the clutch up, put it all back on.
Yeah, slap some black paint on it, throw it in the car.
Yeah.
Don't do concourse cars, guys. If you're viewed into this channel, you realise that now. Get it running, get it done.
It was a budget
So
bodywork restoration.
yeah, definitely. So, does anyone shiny paint maker go faster? You know what? I think just her having a bit of a clean, I bet she feels faster. James has actually done a full oil service on her now and gearbox service. So I have not driven her since then. So I imagine she goes a little bit better now.
Yeah, I drove her down when I went and got her weighed, didn't I? That was she.
A bit fresher.
She felt a bit fresher. Was she any faster? I think changing the gearbox oil has helped a lot. She does feel a bit smoother in the gear changes now. That box is not the best box that's on her, but it will see us.
It'll do what we want to do, won't it?
It will do what we need to do until we can get our. Because we haven't really got the space to work on such a big thing. I need to get a new jack and new axle stands because what I've got can barely lift her. I think until we can get her into a garage, and a mechanic friend of ours who works on commercial vehicles is willing to do some work on it.
He's doing the MOT for us and things, but he's looking after her really, isn't he? So
I think as soon as he has a slot, probably in the next month or two, where we can actually take her down, and
proper look.
I want him to do some jobs for me, because as much as I want to do it myself, I just would rather.
He's just more experienced.
He's just more experienced, and I know he'll do a good deal for us. So if I just know that like there's some CV boots that need doing, there's a little issue with the gearbox we need sorting, and but that's it really. It's just the sort of.
Other than that, she's a good truck, isn't she?
Yeah, well, there is one thing that we did find rust, which. You will see
on the lower
cross member. Yeah,
we've managed to sort of source the part.
They still.
I was panicking a bit. I thought, bloody hell, we're never going to buy them.
But
because, like James said, the van's so widely made on another chassis.
Because it is a feartured Kato and it's still so popular. It's still very popular in Europe, and a lot of camper vans are still based off feartured Katos. The part is actually still made brand new today. So even though it is a 21-year-old truck, we can still get a front cross member. And we can still get the factory original bolts as well, which are quite corroded. So I'll be doing that. Probably be a little video on that. I'll be doing that myself because once I get a new jack and some axle stands, so I can lift her up. But it's something that is literally a bolt-on part. But we're going to talk to Frost to see what we can get to
about some powder coating,
maybe some powder coating or something. Yeah, do it yourself powder coating, which would be quite interesting for the channel. We're gonna make I think ironically out of all the cars that we're doing on the channel, Edith is kind of the Frost demonstrator at the moment for us. As you will see in the cleaning video, we do use some products that Frost supplied us, so we are very much looking forward to that.
If you guys have seen the last 3 or 4 months of the channel, Edith, if she's not right, we can't bring to you what we want to bring to you. So it is very important to the channel, and a lot of you probably tune out when you see her, and I appreciate that because you're used to seeing your minis and you're used to seeing restoration or whatever. But obviously bear in mind in the background, she's also quite an old truck and quite retro, but she is going to be a big part of it. And someone said there, sign written and stuff. Yeah, it's all stuff for the future we're definitely looking at. But like James said, Copart, race car, barn finds,
track days.
We can go and get we can get everything. So she's very important to us and to the channel, so obviously bear with us with the videos. If they're not what you like, then obviously if you could drop a nice comment or sort of say your bit, but it's one of them. Also, while I've got a few of you here anyway, I know the video came out on the club on the other day regarding the number plates, putting the front end back together basically. There was a few comments about the number plates. I appreciate people's sort of opinion, and I also appreciate people's views. I would never shoot someone down in that respect. People do jump on the comments as well. I can't control that. So if someone's got offended by that, that's their opinion, back at it. The whole point of the comments is discussion. So I will not stop that. That's the whole point of the channel. But for me, the car has black number plates because legally in December it is liable for them. I think they look better. I think they contrast the car better. I've rung my MOT man. I've double checked, and he's like, "Yep, as long as you have your MOT done after the date of the build, it rolls over the 40 years. You can apply for your taxation class. You don't technically need an MOT then, but I will still MOT the car. The car is a freshly built car, it still get MOT'd. So I've checked my legalities and the car is legitimate for them. Someone's commented are not period correct. If that's the case, then please go check the first video. The car doesn't look anything like it did. So
it's getting a 90s MG Metro engine, so that's not period correct. So
yeah, it's built out of absolute bits. I wanted it to look like an earlier Clubman. That's the only stipulation I had with the whole build, and I've got that. So everything else is boxes of crap that I've got lying around going into a car, basically. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because it's happened a few times on some of our videos, and people do jump on the comments, like I mentioned, and I explain my reasonings of doing stuff in videos, whether people like it or not. It is my car, and I will do with it what I please, meant in the nicest way. But obviously, any comments and sort of people do stuff different ways. We always take stuff on board, always will.
Exactly. I've said this to Mark many times, and Andy's just said it there. It's your car. Do what you want with it. Everyone. This is why I think the mini scene is so good, because it really is a car you can take and you can make it your own. At the end of the day, you saved a classic from being on the road or in the scrapyard. Sorry, you put it back on the road. You're going to drive it. You're going to make it who it is. It's very hard to keep cars period correct now. The parts are just not there. The original ones are failing. You got to make it yourself, and there are a few people out there that seem to like to point out the fact that we're maybe not necessarily doing something wrong, but at the end of the day, we're not doing it wrong as long as we like the way it's coming out. It's and
even like tackling job, we might do something slightly differently to someone else, but as long as we get the same result at the end, what's the problem?
And we like to do things as illegal as we possibly can, like as to 100%. We like, as you saw in the MJ video, we still took MJ on Edith because we didn't know if she would pass, and we had a good suspicion she would, but it's just one of those things, and we just wanted to keep everything above board, and we know the laws, and they're out for a reason. They're out there to protect us and keep us safe, and we want to do that. But number plate, the time the car's on the road, it will be legal. So it's just one of those things.
So I just want, like James said, it is one of those things. I just wanted to take the time now while I've got a few of you guys live, just to sort of, I shouldn't have to confront that, but it got quite a few people got quite involved with that discussion, and it's one of them, put it to bed now. But I just wanted to reiterate it, even though it is said time and time again in the video. That's why I did actually want to go for the original style plates, but once the color got changed, I sort of thought it's not a lot of yellow and it needs to dull down a little bit. And I saw one of a yellow backplate as well, and as nice as it looks, I just wanted it to look that bit different. So but don't want to end on that note. It's been great chatting to you all.
Yeah, it's been good.
If you haven't already, please go and check out our website. Stickers are still available. They are going fast. They've gone all over the world now. It's mad.
I need to. I was going to email the guy in Australia to make sure he's got it. So he should have had it by now. But
there's quite a few people tagging us on Instagram and Facebook when they're sticking them on their cars as well. It's awesome. Please do that.
It's good to see. Well, obviously we're not making any money out of this, but it's been good to see that people are like showing our support. And at the end of the day, if our channel has helped their car project in any little way, with them being more confident to do stuff, then that's it. That's what we're doing it for. We're learning. You guys are learning. We're showing you our experiences, and we just want to take you along for the ride. And
definitely,
we want to meet all you guys as well. We can't wait. This year is.
We are working on a meet and greet. It's just very hard to pinpoint anything with COVID. It's very hard because we could get there and then we can't do it, or it's hard at the moment.
It's something that no one anticipated for this year. I wouldn't even know where Simpson's Classic would be this year if it wasn't for COVID. you know, could have gone either way, but we know that we got a big plan for next year, so that's the main thing.
Definitely. So stay safe, guys. Please enjoy your little projects or whatever you're cracking on with. Enjoy your Sunday. I'm going to try and do something on the cars, so obviously be a video on its way, hopefully. But yeah, it's been nice catching up with you all. And like I said, stickers are available. If you haven't already, check us out on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Hopefully,
and if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button.
I do want to get a few more designs out. I think I've been saying this last time. It was like I know we've only got the one sticker, and I think if we just get a couple of more stickers
we're
out.
working on that. I've given a few ideas to a designer, so
yeah, we are working on that. We hopefully should have that available soon. And yeah, like what Russ Bucket said, just remember that it is, but well, probably more Mark because I joined a little bit later on. It inspired him to.
You're always there in the background.
Yeah, I've been there in the background from very early on. It's just taken a little while to get me on camera. So.
Yeah. But yeah, that's exactly why. Well, that's why I started the channel, because not necessarily really YouTube, but forums and stuff like that. And for me, it got me into the cars, and it's about keeping these cars on the road. And we got MJ on the road, so that's a tick box done now. Next one, Budget Clubman tick box. Next one, EV tick box. We're going to get them all on the road, and then we're going to enjoy other cars as well. So thank you for supporting us, because there is so much coming.
One day, Maxi.
Yeah, and a Maxi. No Corsas though.
Not even a Mark 1. Probably Nova first, if we can.
Yeah.
Right, have a good evening, guys. We'll
catch you later, everyone.
We'll be back in the next couple of weeks. Whenever we'll let you guys know when we are.
Yeah, keep an eye out on social media, guys. We'll try and do it away from the polls.
Yeah, I think we might try and do it at a slightly different time. Maybe go for a later one. I think a later one might work a bit better because it just seems to be a bit more popular later on in the evening. So cool.
Definitely.
Have a good one,
guys.
Take
Bye.
care.